Hi guys, welcome to the video or to the lesson where I'm talking about how to prepare for CET Maharashtra MBA 2021 and in the time frame that you have available now. So we'll be talking about the CET Maharashtra exam, and we'll also be talking about the process of preparation and that's what we'll be talking about in today's class. In this session, what you should do and how you should prepare for it, and what should you do with your your mock tests, etc., and how should you prepare portion, etc., in all the areas. Basically, as you know, CET Maharashtra is your last chance in a way to actually look at or to actually create or get an MBA seat during the current year, and all other exams that you'll have will take you to CAT 22 to the 2022-24 batch. But CET Maharashtra, which is tentatively scheduled in August, will give you a entry in the 21-23 batch. So effectively, the biggest advantage of this exam, of the CET Maharashtra exam, is that it is giving you an entry in this year. It's saving you a year in a way. So how should I mean? So that is the reason you should look at this exam, and obviously we'll look at the syllabus, we'll look at the exam pattern, and what should be the preparation strategy to score a 99 plus percentile. We'll look at that. CET Maharashtra is a 200 mark exam, and we'll look at the syllabus and the structure. But before we go there, just wanted to remind you about a few things on Unacademy. One of the most popular programs on Unacademy is the Unacademy Combat, and the Unacademy Combat is India's biggest weekly scholarship test for CAT aspirants. You can enroll for free, and you get a scholarship from a pool of 55 lakhs, and you can take the test live from your Android. And the scholarships include rank 1 to 3, who get a free 100% benefit or 100% scholarship on 1 year CAT plus subscription. Ranks 4 to 10 get a 75% scholarship, and ranks 11 to 50 get a 50% scholarship, and ranks 51 to 200 get a 25% scholarship. And it's every week these many prizes are there, and CAT Combat every Sunday at 12 p.m. is the date and time. So you can just note the time. It's 12 p.m. every Sunday. It's India's biggest gamified contest for CAT. And how you can enroll for this? You'll need to scan this QR code, and once you scan this QR code, so you will have to use a code to enroll. So that code, you can use my code. The code is Sharma Cat Live. You can use this code to scan. Once you scan, and the code, when it prompts you to put a code to enroll, you can use this code Sharma Cat Live. And Sharma Cat Live you can also use for registering for Unacademy Plus, the courses and the programs, either for Unacademy Plus or Unacademy Iconic, and you get a 10% discount on the existing fees if you just use that code. The other thing is there's an Ask It Out feature on Unacademy Plus, which is very popular for a lot of students. What Ask It Out does is that the moment you have a doubt, or you have a doubt whose solution you want, so what Ask It Out does is you have to just put your doubt on the app, and to pick the doubt, you on the top left corner of the Unacademy app, you will have a Ask a Doubt feature. So click on that, and once you click on that, once you have clicked on that, you get a prompt to actually put your photograph or your photograph of the picture, or you can take a picture at that time only, and then crop the picture, and then select the subject you want to. Step 4 is select the subject you want to attach the doubt to, and then just send the doubt, and you will get a video solution or a solution of that question. ठीक है, तो चलो let's investigate what CET Maharashtra is all about, and we will talk about the CET Maharashtra program. And before we go there, also wanted to a couple of more things that I wanted to show you. Yeah, this is the batches coming up, which is 30th June, 3rd July, and 7th July. These are the new batches coming up, which will be available for people joining now. 30th June को revision guide 1 for CAT. It's being conducted by Shruti Kaura, Ravi Prakash, Samir Sardana, Zubjati Banik. 3rd July, you got to practice with experts 2.0 for CAT 21. Praveen Tyagi, Ronak Kumar Shah, and Abhilasha Sarupa taking that batch. And Excellence Batch 1.0 for CAT 21. Nilanjan Datta, Bharat Gupta, Ritu Dudharia, and Akash Singh are doing it. And my new course is coming up in. My next course is coming up on 9th July, which is a advanced practice course on data interpretation. So that also you can enroll for. And to do any of these enrollments and you want to do any of these classes, you can just register, or while registering you can use this promo code Sharma Cat Live, and it will give you access to a 10% discount on the courses. So, chalo, let's first look at the syllabus and the marking scheme of the CET Maharashtra. MBA it's for MBA and MMS. Mumbai University colleges typically give MMS. First of all, you need to understand that there are around 8-10 good colleges in CET Maharashtra. Now, the biggest fish, so to say, in CET Maharashtra, that's the institute due to which people take this exam in the first place. Otherwise, this would be like a common entrance test for almost any other state that conducts an MBA entrance exam. So why CET Maharashtra becomes so important in the MBA calendar is because it gives you a chance. Suppose you have not got a seat at a top B school, and you can max your CET Maharashtra score, you get a chance to get into a prestigious institution like Jamnal Bajaj, whose outcomes and whose career paths from a college like Jamnal Bajaj is as good as and the outcome and career path you can hope to get out of IIM Ahmedabad, Bangalore, or Calcutta, or even XLRA. So Jamnal Bajaj has always been one of the top 5 B schools that exist. Ahmedabad, Bangalore, Calcutta, XLRI, FMS, and Jamnal Bajaj. These are almost inseparable in terms of their profile that they get students for. They give students after their B school the kind of career paths people have after their B school. 15, 20 years past the B school career, B school course, you'll see that people from JBIMS are equal to people from IIM Ahmedabad or IIM Bangalore in terms of their stature, in terms of their impact, in terms of the career paths, etc. And biggest advantage of Jamnal Bajaj, which I think it uses quite a bit, is that it's in Mumbai, and most of the corporate offices in India are in Mumbai. So for a lot of top companies, getting or going over to recruit at JBIMS is they really do not need to commit any resources for it, because it's just a day out from the office for the recruiting team. But if they're going to Ahmedabad or Bangalore, they have to send a whole team for that. So that's one of the reasons why Jamnal Bajaj is very attractive. But apart from Jamnal Bajaj, also there are a lot of good colleges. Mumbai University itself has 4-5 more good colleges, which you can check up on the Mumbai University website and the MMS CET Maharashtra website, which are colleges which still are under the Mumbai University campus or structure. SP Jain has pulled out of CET Maharashtra long back. पहले SP Jain भी CET Maharashtra में होता था, और नरसिंह मुंजी pull out कर गया. पहले नरसिंह मुंजी भी होता था, but there are still other colleges like Syddham and Somaiya, etc., which will still take you from CET Maharashtra. And then you also have colleges like Siagarh and Pune University MBA, which is still one of the top university MBAs outside FMS, which is available. So CET Maharashtra is an important exam in your calendar, and basically this exam is very different from CAT and IFT or NMAT or even ZAT that you might have taken. So this exam is essentially split into three parts: logical and abstract reasoning. So this shall include questions to measure how quickly and accurately you can think. The test may have questions based on figures and diagrams and also questions on verbal reasoning. So we'll look at what that means. The second part is quantitative aptitude. This shall include the questions to know how fast and accurate you can work with numbers, do numerical calculations, understand various arithmetic problems involving ratio and proportion, percentage, etc. This test also helps to manage your power of quantitative reasoning, interpretation of tables, common graphs and charts. So what you should realize is that the quantitative aptitude section of or the quantitative aptitude area of the exam is also containing data interpretation here. So it's not just QA, it's QA and DI. And the third one is the third area is verbal ability and reading comprehension. So this can include passages with questions based on their contents to test your comprehension. Your English language ability would be tested through questions on grammar, vocabulary, sentence completion, synonyms, antonyms, comprehension passages. So typical RC plus VA, but VA is very much more expanded than what CAT is. And your English language ability would be tested with questions on understanding the contents of the passage and choice of appropriate words, phrases, expressions, and similar language skills. So, few things to note. Let's now get on to our let's start taking notes here. So we are basically talking about three sections when we are talking about CET Maharashtra. Please understand that this is not sections like CAT that you have a fixed time limit for each section. CET Maharashtra is an open exam. You can spend as much time as you want in whichever section you want, and that increases the actually it actually changes the perspective of how you take the paper quite a bit. We'll come to that a little bit later. First of all, let's understand you have got logical reasoning. I mean, if you look at the first section, you got logical reasoning and abstract reasoning. Logical reasoning and abstract reasoning. So the logical reasoning you do typically here. We'll look at the syllabus in detail also, but let me just give you a heads up. The logical reasoning you do for CET Maharashtra, that's very similar to what you have studied for CAT, but much easier, of course. All the chapters you studied for CAT, like puzzles and quantitative reasoning and Venn diagrams and network diagrams, etc. Plus all the chapters you've also done for OMETs. All the chapters you've done for OMETs. So it will be a mix of CAT kind of questions like puzzles and the OMET kind of questions, questions like input output, syllogisms, logical deduction, binary logic. So the only thing you need to understand is that this is a very vast syllabus. And then you got AR, which is abstract reasoning. So abstract reasoning basically is visual reasoning. And as this slide tells you, this is the slide from the original CET Maharashtra, CET Department of Technical Education, DTE. That's the department of the state government that conducts this. And as this tells you, you have a weightage of 100 marks out of 200. The total paper is of 200 marks. Out of that 200 marks, 100 marks comes from the LR and the AR. And that is split into 75 marks here and 25 marks here. So this is the first part of the split you need to understand. So obviously reasoning is more than, in a battle amongst equals, reasoning, quants and verbal, reasoning is actually more than equal because it takes 50% of your marks. And essentially, if you're looking at, the CET Maharashtra exam has two, three more features that define how you take that exam. But before we get there, we will continue with the syllabus. So quantitative aptitude and data interpretation, although they only call it quantitative aptitude in this exam, this is This is 50 marks. Quantitative aptitude that's QA, plus data interpretation. This is 50 marks. And 50 marks, the remaining 50 marks is essentially in verbal ability and reading comprehension, as you can see here. So this is verbal ability and reading comprehension. So the split of 200 marks basically then is 50% on reasoning, 25% of your work is on QADI, and 25% of your work is on VRC. This is your split of the 200 marks that you have. Now, few more things. You have a total of 150 minutes for 200 marks, and every question is 1 mark. So as you can see here, the weightage marks per question is 1, which means that you are expecting these number of questions: 75 questions from LR, 25 questions from AR, 50 questions from quantitative aptitude and data interpretation, and 50 questions from VRC. So out of 200 questions in 150 minutes, obviously you realize that your time per question is around 45 seconds. Now please contrast this to the time per section per question you have when you're giving CAT or even SAT. In CAT, the structure that we used this year, you had 78 questions in 120 minutes. So on an average, it was around 1.5 minutes per question. 90 seconds per question was your timeline. If you go to the previous CATs, you had 100 questions in 300 minutes, right? 100 questions, which was split in 34 questions. 100 questions, 3 hours, 180 minutes. So it was 1.8 minutes per question on an average. This was the processing time available per question. Of course, you don't normally you're not able to visit all the questions, but the more part of the paper you say, you are able to see the needless to say it is more. You'll score more basically. If you see only in a 100 question exam, if you see 50 questions, 70 questions, and I see 90 questions, I'm obviously dealing with easier choices and much more choice in my solving than you are dealing with. So you need to, this is the first characteristic of the CET exam, that while CAT is about ability to solve questions, CET is about speed. It is completely about speed, and your attitude inside the paper has to be completely different when you're solving the CET exam. You don't have time to stop and think about questions. It has to be, you look at a question, you react, you look at a question, you react, and you keep completing that way. So even if you compare it to other exams, for example, SAT is 75 questions in 165 minutes. SAT is even worse than CAT in terms of, or even gives you even more time than CAT in terms of minutes per question. On an average, you have to process one question in 2.2 minutes if you want to finish off the paper in SAT. This is the SAT structure. So CET is going to be a very, very bullet kind of an exam. First point. First major point is that CET is a very bullet kind of exam. So the attitude while solving CET, in CAT, the attitude is to struggle with questions, and CAT and SAT both. The attitude is always to fight with the questions and come through the solution, etc. There are questions which you'll have to, unless you think through them, you'll not get it. In CET, it is about read, react, solve, read, react, skip. So there are two strategies in the CET paper: read, react, solve, and read, react, skip. In the CAT paper, you also have a third strategy: read, react, and try. A lot of the questions you do that way, and you get through your solutions in that way in CAT. In CET you don't have that. Read, react, solve immediately. Of course, don't get stuck. When I say solve, read, react, solve. Read, react, try is also solve, but read, react, solve is that you know what to do and you finish it all in 30-40 seconds. Right? Because if you are hoping to be amongst the toppers in CET, your net score target has to be in the range of 150 plus. I mean, All India rank 1, All India rank 1 in CET typically would score 75% marks of the net score. And there's one more caveat here, one more interesting thing that you need to understand about CET Maharashtra. No sectional time limits. Second point. These are things that change your perspective over how quickly you need to do things. So no sectional time limits. That's the second big point which changes your strategy drastically in solving CET. Third is very important, very important, no negative marking. So, while in papers like CAT and XAT you are cautious about, especially about marking questions which are option based, and TETA questions में तो कोई फर्क ही नहीं पड़ता है. अगर तुम guess कर रहे हो TETA question, the chance of getting the answer is almost zero. So the guessing is not going to help. So in CAT you really don't have much guessing to do. You can't, because you end up scoring a lot of negative marks, and that takes you away from the possibility of cracking the exam. But if you look at exam like CET Maharashtra, no negative marking means that whatever, I mean, I have to have three approaches. One is, I mean, what is the structure? What is the topper strategy to get to 150 marks? 150 plus, if you can score, you are amongst the absolute toppers. 140 to 140, 150 also. This should be your target. 120 to 140 score karoge, you will get a good college. 140 plus पे almost Jamnal Bajaj is guaranteed for you, irrespective of your domicile. Whether you're Maharashtra domicile or not, it doesn't matter. Outside Maharashtra के लिए number of seats is very limited in the Maharashtra colleges. So you have to actually score much higher than and inside within Maharashtra also, within a particular university. The university reserves seats for its own graduates rather than giving it to people from other universities. So while a student from UP or Karnataka or Rajasthan is disadvantaged against a student from Mumbai for with respect to getting to Bajaj, a student from Mumbai can get in maybe with 20% lesser score than a student from Rajasthan or Haryana or anything anywhere outside Maharashtra. This handicap is also there for a Pune University student who's trying to get to Jamnal Bajaj. Because Jamnal Bajaj will only have a certain number of seats for each Maharashtra university, and that seat will be just one or two. So if you are from Pune and Pune University and want to get to Maharashtra to Jamnal Bajaj, you have to be in the top 2-3 in the exam from Pune to have a hope. You cannot be 20th in Pune. Whereas if you are from Bombay, maybe even the 50th rank will get you into Bajaj. So this is a strange quirk about CET. So you have to make sure that if you are a Bombay student, you score 120, 130, you got a fair chance to get to Bajaj. But if you are a outside Bombay student within Maharashtra, or outside Bombay student outside Maharashtra, then your targets have to be slightly stiff. So what is the strategy to score 140? And even, of course, even if you are from Bombay and you can score 140 plus, why not? So what are the strategies to score 140 plus? So in the test taking strategy, first there are a few things that you change. The first thing you change in your test taking strategy is you change your approach to balancing out the time. In CAT you have to perform in all sections. So there are no sectional cutoffs here, no sectional time limits here. You get 150 minutes, 200 questions. You have to try to score the best possible. So the first strategy is play to your strengths. So if my reasoning and quants is my strength and my verbal is my weakness, I can just focus on those 150 questions, and verbal I can just spend very little time and just solve, because to get to 150 plus score wise, you'll have to attempt 180 plus. If you are solving with around 15% errors, and when you're solving so fast, 180 attempts if you want to do in 150 minutes, uh, you are, as you can see, you are typically solving one question in less than a minute. 50 seconds में एक attempt हो जाना चाहिए तुम्हारा, अगर 180 attempt चाहिए तुमको. तो 15% एरर से अगर सॉल्व कर रहे हो तो 27 मार्क्स कम होंगे तुम्हारे. नो नेगेटिव मार्किंग, रिमेंबर. सो 153 क्वेश्चंस राइट, 27 रॉन्ग विल गेट यू टू 150 प्लस. सो 180 अटेम्प्ट्स तुमको टारगेट करना है अगर 150 प्लस स्कोर कर रहे हो, और 130 प्लस स्कोर कर रहे हो अगर करना है तो 160 प्लस टारगेट करना पड़ेगा अटेम्प्ट्स. राइट. सो द फर्स्ट स्ट्रैटेजी इज प्ले टू योर स्ट्रेंथ. इफ क्वांट्स प्लस रीजनिंग इज योर स्ट्रेंथ, quants DI plus reasoning is your strength, then play to that. Reasoning में कौन सा strength है? Is it logical reasoning is your strength or analytical reasoning is your strength? Play to your strengths. Make sure that you cover all the questions on your strength, on your strong areas, and make sure that you already at least have 2 strengths. This is a must do. So for people who are good at quants, they can target. If I'm naturally decent at quants, I can target my LR and AR, abstract reasoning and logical reasoning, as my second strong area. On the other hand, if my natural ability is in VRC, then I will want my reasoning to be my second strong area. Of course, both these, whether you talk about VRC strong or QADI strong, I think for both people, you have to make sure that your reasoning is strong, not just because you need strong 2 strengths, but if you get your reasoning strong, you are basically looking at 100 questions in the exam, which means that 50% of the paper. So if you can score a score of 80 plus in the reasoning section, your targets or your challenges to score in quants and verbal reduces drastically to get to 150. Right? So play to your strengths, make 2 strengths, which must include reasoning. You have to get strong at reasoning, and you, since most of these reasoning questions is not like the DILR question of the CAT, so section of the CAT, so most of these reasoning questions that you will see will actually be pretty simple. So if I take you back to the syllabus, let me try to do that for you. If I try to take you back to the syllabus, सिलेबस देख लेते हैं. यहाँ पे 4 सेक्शंस लिखा है मैंने, बिकॉज आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट LR and AR is separate, but LR and AR is split into 75 and 25. So all the exams are MCQ, no TETA questions, and it will be scheduled in 2 days and 4 sessions. It's a online computer based test. I told you it's 150 minutes, and total number of questions, and 5 answer options are there in every question. There are 5 answer options in every question. So this we have already seen. So coming back to the question types, take a look at the question types closely. You will see that this is a mix of what you have done for CAT, the kind of chapters you do for CAT, puzzles, etc., and the kind of work you do for the OMITs. So you got topics like calendars, clocks. Figure-based questions is what the analytical reasoning part is, but assumptions, premises, conclusions, direction sense and decision making, input output, these analogy, passage conclusion, statement argument, etc. These are all OMIT kind of topics, blood relations, etc. And even topics like series, syllogisms, cubes, quantitative reasoning, critical reasoning, logical reasoning based on rankings. These logical reasoning, etc., puzzles, quantitative reasoning, critical reasoning, these become CAT type of questions, CAT and that kind of questions also. Set theory, Venn diagram, network diagram, ये CAT type questions भी हो जाते हैं. So it's a mix of both, but again you have to understand that this is a speed test. So you're not going to get those 15-minute CAT kind of questions. So they are not going to be very too logically twisted. They're going to be read once, react. As far as you're good with your pictures, you should be able to solve these questions. So you need to practice. In your practice, you need to do a lot of speed work, not very deep into chapters. And that's true for quants also. Uh, that's true for quants also. In quants, the typical topics are 50 questions of quants and DI. The typical topics are the whole of arithmetic, percentages, profit and loss, interest, time, speed, distance. If you look at my books, block 2, 3, the whole of arithmetic is there. Then यहाँ पे इसमें मैंने population combination all भी नहीं डाल दिया, but it should be under pure maths etc. But then you also have geometry, mensuration, algebra, Venn diagrams, linear equations, quadratic equations, logarithms, progression, certain. I mean, you name the topic. So I think it's not worth going haywire with the topics. A lot of what you will see in the CT Maharashtra exam will be based on arithmetic. So stick to the 18-20 chapters that you normally do for CAT. Don't go too much just because यहाँ पे मैंने for example linear programming लिख दिया है, तो इसका मतलब ये नहीं कि linear programming तो पढ़ना शुरू कर दोगे. Don't bother about that. Just focus on the CAT syllabus. Is the best way to structure a CET. This thing, if you're done with the CAT syllabus, and that too LOD1, but speed based. So speed के लिए जो काम करोगे उसमें you have to make sure that you do a lot of work where you can do things in one reading, etc. Right, and then you got data interpretation, which is the typical DI that you see in the traditional DI. This is going to be completely traditional DI and very speed based DI. So 5 question का set होगा 3 से 4 मिनट में बनेगा from the toppers, because you don't have to do much. You have to extract the data, calculate and get the answer. It's not something which is very this thing. And the third section VRC. RC is based on all kinds of topics. हर तरह के topic पे RC आएगा. Verbal ability में you will see jumbled paragraphs, 5 to 6 questions. Then you have error correction of verbs, nouns. So sentence correction, which is basically grammatical questions. You will get 3 to 4 questions, and reconstructing sentence. Example: correct use of conditional sentences, time clauses, reported speech, passive writing. ये इसके 3-4 questions आएंगे. Antonym, synonym, vocabulary based questions, one word substitution, and fill in the blanks. You will get 14-15 questions here. So this is the verbal ability part. So and RC will be around 12 to 15 questions. So 12 to 15 RC, and 5 plus 3 8 plus 3 11 plus 14 15 25, maybe a little bit more if you take the upper end. So यहाँ पे तुम्हारा करीब 37-38 questions, 40 questions हो रहा है. तो इसी में plus 2-3 questions कहीं ऐड कर दो तो तुम्हारा 50 पहुँच जाएगा. So this is what you will find. So as you can see, number of questions in verbal ability will be around 35 to 38 if you look at it overall. So you might have some, जैसे यहाँ पे fill in the blanks etc. नहीं बताया हुआ है, तो वो सब मिला जुला के this will be 35 to 38 questions, and 12 to 15 questions will be RC. So तुमको ये decide करना पड़ेगा कि कैसे तुमको उस पर achieve करना है. So few more strategies before we wind up then. Few more strategies about this exam. The first strategy I told you about taking the exam. The first strategy I told you is you have to play to your strengths. Second strategy, very important strategy about taking the exam, is when in doubt. When in doubt, mark. Because there's no negative marking. Inside the CAT, there are times when you say that if I'm in doubt, I'll not mark the exam, mark the answer, because I don't want the -1. But in IFT, sorry, in CET, if you are in doubt, suppose there are 2 students X and Y, and let's say both of them solve 130 questions solidly in the exam, 120 questions solidly in the exam. ठीक है, both of them are similar ability, and they have a 2 option doubt in 40 questions, all the questions MCQs. So X takes the approach that he does not mark any of these. Y takes the approach that he marks all these answers. So in that case, if he is able to bring his option down to 2 options, in that case he is ending up with around 10 marks, 20 marks more over X. So right at this point you are at 140, whereas this guy is only at 120. just because he's not taken those marking decisions. So whenever you're in doubt, even if you're in 3 options, let's say there are 20 questions in which you have 3 options, do mark one of them. Take an educated guess on one of them. Worst case 6 राइट आएंगे, 6-7 राइट आएंगे. अच्छा दिन हो गया तो 10 राइट आ जाएंगे. Right? So if you start doing that, you keep raising your score. So the score of 150 overall can be broken into, I mean, I'm talking about the topper score, of course, and if you are trying to score 120, you can proportionally drop down the targets that you have, etc. But the score of 150 overall can be created with 120 solid attempts and 60 guesses and 20 blind marks. So what I mean by blind marking is, suppose you don't get time to solve the 15 RC questions because RC is normally slower solving. So just keep 1.5 minutes for the marking all the 15 answers. So on a normal day, because there are 5 options, 1 in 5 questions will go right. So in that 1.5 minutes, if you can just mark, you can just pick up B and mark all the answers as B in that part. And this is, I mean, as a teacher, I should not be telling you this, but this is smart work inside the CET exam. So if you start doing that, what you'll realize is that you will get, out of those 15 questions on a normal day, you will get 3 questions correct. On a very bad day, you will get 0 correct. But then if you can have a very bad correct day, you can also have a very good day where you're ending up with 9 correct, 7, 8 correct. If this happens, even if you get the normal outcome, expected outcome of 3 correct and 12 wrong, because there are 5 options in every question. So even if you get 3 extra, you get 3 marks plus in 1.5 minutes. Right? Because clicking 20 buttons, once you decide कि okay B mark करना है सबका, तो you clicking 20 buttons, एक साथ 15 बटन 20 बटन जो क्वेश्चन तुमको सॉल्व नहीं हो रहा है, उसमें तुम 15-20 बटन अगर पिच कर देते हो, which where you're not solving anything, you get 3 marks extra. So every mark that you raise from 120 solid attempts, 42 option attempts, 23 option attempts, and 20 wild guesses. So don't think anything at all. So if you can get a 90%, 95% accuracy here, you are looking at some mark score of 110. There is no need to calculate negative marks, as I am repeatedly telling you. If you get 50% accuracy here, you are getting 20. If you are getting 30%, 1/3 accuracy here, because you are putting 3 options, you are getting 7 more. And if you are getting 1/5 accuracy here, 1 in 5 questions is correct out of 20, you are getting 4 more. So score of 110, which is your solid attempts, which is what score is giving you in solid attempts, converts to a score of 141 if you do this. So just use these strategies, and of course in your practice, make sure that you go through all the chapters multiple times. Just do the LOD once, but do them multiple times. Right, as I showed you, it's the chapters essentially are the same chapters as CAT. तो मेरी book अगर use कर रहे हो तो just use the LOD once and the easier questions of LOD 2 at max. And do remember the last fundamental principle of working on any aptitude exam, a lot of mock tests. So do make sure that you also take around 20-30 mock tests to see how many solid attempts are you able to create inside the test, and then how many attempts on top of the solid are you able to move to 2 options and select one of them without resolving it, and then how many questions are you able to create with your 3 options and you are selecting one of them. So just do the various experimentations with the various levels, and you should be able to find your sweet spot about how much time on structure wise and section wise. Also try to vary how much time you're giving to the quant section, to the reasoning section, and to the verbal ability reading comprehension section. Find your sweet spot with your testing, and you should be right for it. So there's a bumper offer right now for CAT 21. It's a natural bumper offer because अभी 6 month subscription लोगे you do get covered till CAT 21, and you get 1 month extra preparation for exams like NMAT, SNAP, ZAT, etc. So this is an offer which is there, which you can this thing. I already shown you the batch starting dates 30th, 3rd and 7th July. I have already shown you that earlier, and the Iconic CAT program is available to you. In that you get a personal mentor along with the test analysis and reports. Apart from having moment preparation inside it, so you obviously get all the benefits of Plus apart from all being getting all this. So this is the Iconic CAT subscription available, and you can use my promo code Sharma CAT Live in case you want to access these courses. This will give you a 10% discount on your existing fees. So chalo, I hope you have understood the syllabus, the strategy, and the toppers structure for CET Maharashtra. That was the topic: the syllabus, the pattern, and the toppers preparation strategy, and the toppers, most importantly, which is not written here, the toppers test taking strategy. Make sure you implement it, and I wish you all the best, and hopefully you'll be able to get to your dream B schools very quickly. Thank you so much. Work hard, stay motivated, stay inspired, and make sure that you give it a best shot. And most importantly, in 2021, we should also say, stay safe. Thank you so much. Bye.